Hi guys, I'm Never. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are joined by Arslan, who is the leader of my alliance, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Otherworld that's going to be coming out in a few days, and he's going to help me build my teams in preparation for it. So, Arslan, welcome to the channel, dude.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for having me. And yeah, glad to be here and helping you out. And hopefully, you all can also like see what goes on into building a team for otherworldly exploration. As I think it's one of the most important event that we're going to have for the season.
Yeah, well, it's the true end game of the season, so it's quite exciting. Obviously, I've not experienced it. You did in the beta. So why don't
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit about what you actually experienced, what we're going to see?
So basically, what you start with is something of a campaign story style quest on the day one, and quickly you will unlock a merchant there as well who is going to give you some quests. You can exchange something which looks similarly to like the Echoes of Clepsydra. If you go to like the ranking, it looks the same, but it's a fire emblem instead of a blue. And what you do is your basic goal is to collect as many of these fire echoes as possible. And you have a bar at top. The more you collect, the higher the bar is going to fill and more rewards that you're going to get. So typically, what you will end up doing there is going to be a combination of dungeons and a combination of these continental style bosses. And you don't have to spare your existing stamina. You get a special stamina that you use only in the other world exploration. So you have to be uh, very smart about where you're going to spend it to get the most amount of these fire echoes that you're going to collect. I forgot what it's called.
That's all
It
right.
was some weird
We'll,
name.
we'll
Yeah.
find that out in a few days. So in terms, when you say being smart with your energy, is there a certain amount of times you can hit these things? Obviously, can you buy more of the energy with
Yeah,
gems
you
or?
cannot buy more energy. Like you are given like I think it was 200 or something per day.
Okay.
And even like the daily quest that you're gonna go through with the merchant thing, it requires you to spend some of that to
Okay.
basically take a quest. So you have to be smart, like, okay, I can do this dungeon, and then I can take a couple of quests, or I will take no quests and I'll spend all my energy on these continental bosses and these elemental dungeons.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And there's one for each element, isn't there?
Yeah, so there's it's very similar to what we have for the Uteor event going on right now.
Yep.
I mean, unless they change something drastic there,
Yep.
it's going to be very much similar. And one thing to keep in mind is like the rewards are really, really good for the end of the season. And so if you go to your Clipsidra ranking, right?
Yeah.
So you will see like I think the rank one, which is going to be me, I have like
Yep.
54,000, but 55,000 roughly of these echoes. You can expect 10x that I would be able to get from the other world, and every
Nice.
player should be expecting like a large pool of the echoes coming from this other world exploration.
Yeah. Well,
And the reason that yeah, go ahead.
your potential 550,000 sounds a lot better than my 180,000.
No, it could be much higher, like because it's not like a vertex style battle.
Yeah.
There are some slight changes to it, and I'll go through in a second. So, in the first 15 days or first week, when you're fighting these continental dungeons and your elemental dungeons that you're fighting, after that you will be able to you're going to fight a dragon style boss, and based on your progression on how well you did on the elemental dungeons and the continental dungeons, you will be able to get extra buffs. So I'm talking about more accuracy, more attack, HP. There's some healing passives that you will unlock as well, and also you will get some more skill haste. So you do get a lot of benefits for fighting the boss, and that actually translates to a much higher. So for people who are like you are right now at 18,000, right?
Yeah.
Eighteen
Rough.
thousand acres.
Let's have a look.
So you would,
Yeah.
I would guess that you would be somewhere close to like 200k. Like it depends on what teams you have, because you
Yeah.
do need to use 6 teams daily on that boss.
I think we might be able to squeeze 5. 6 is going to be a challenge, but that's why I brought you in. The sixth one with necrosis is going to be a little bit difficult, I think, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think I saw it earlier. Nick Rosses was you were lacking a lot of champions for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think another aspect to think about it this way is like, so from now until the otherworld exploration opens up, like you can plan a little ahead, where you have a lot of these XP pots lying around.
Yeah.
Because once you open up these Starlight dices and you get an epic that is better than what you have, you want to immediately level them and use. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, we'll be opening shards for the Dungeons and Dragons event most likely. So,
yeah, the Drizzard event. And I think that there's only one champion there, the Drizzard event.
yeah,
I'm not really sure like how the event is going to be structured, but hopefully we are able to get some more champions other than Drizzard only. I'm
yeah.
hoping they do an exclusive banner on him because I do
I
see the Kairosos in the background. I'm thinking like this can't, like maybe there's a chance that there are some other champions with him.
see. I imagine there'll have to be at least the epics and the rares in the shard or in the pool. Otherwise, every pool would be him, surely. Um,
Yeah.
so that they've got to throw something else in there. But obviously, the wording of it says that he's the only legendary available, which is it's a bit strange. But I guess we'll find out in 6 days.
Yeah, it's going to be in 6 days. So we are going to be having like the otherworldly exploration and this Drizzard event simultaneously. So we will have like tons to do every
Yeah,
day.
yeah. It's going to be a busy month.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy month. But this is where you get like a lot of these. The reason that the echoes is also so important is because that's your next season rewards.
Yeah,
Right? So
exactly.
if you go there to the ranking again and then you see at the bottom, yeah, the reward preview. And there's also an exchange shop for this. So if you go to exchange shop, you will see like how much you can get. So right now you're at just 182 of these currencies.
Yep.
And typically you will land where you are able to buy all these 5 Heliolite dice and all the stuff.
Yeah. So at the moment, in terms of the ranking at the moment, I am just about scraping the gold shop. So
Yeah.
obviously that's, wow, I mean, the amount of things you can get from it is crazy, really. Especially,
Yeah. So
obviously, considering
I think
it's the
everybody will
start.
be able to get the Heliolite dice. Like, not everybody, I should say, like, but like somebody who, with your account level, I think should be able to get all the Heliolite dice. Like, that's like 150,000
Yeah.
total. Yeah.
Yeah, no, seems pretty doable, that's for sure. It would be nice to get the Master Scrolls as well, but we'll see. As
Yeah,
well as
it
that.
really depends on how they've structured it this time versus last time.
Yeah.
Because last time I expected a bit more. It was a bit boring, these elemental dungeons and continental bosses. So I'm hoping they do something a bit differently and we are able to get more and more of these echoes because from what we got in the season 0 rewards were that there were only 5 Heliolite dice. So if they're offering us 15 this time, so I'm
Yeah.
expecting that to be dropped much more.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So what, when you started this season, you could only buy 5, could you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
could only buy 5.
Yeah,
Along
interesting.
with the frame and this avatar thing.
Yeah,
Cosmetics don't really hurt anybody, I think.
no, I wish the cosmetics were a little bit cheaper. Actually, it would be a nice touch because you're earning that spot. It would be good if
Yeah.
you could get it. Like obviously, you can change the appearance of your main character for 1. I don't expect the avatar frame and stuff to be 1, but if it was a little bit lower, then it would be nice because like, what 200 for the avatar and 100 for the frame's quite a big.
300 for the frame. No,
Oh yeah, sorry,
the
I was
avatar
looking at
is
the wrong avatar.
the
Yeah,
S1 avatar is 300. Cool,
yeah.
okay.
So 400 total. So that's 400,000 of your. I mean, that's nearly all of yours. That and the dice, and you'd be out basically.
Yeah, I think the last time it was like 100 or something. I don't remember what the cost was, but I ended up with a lot of them. I think I had 440 or 540, something like that.
Yeah,
But you get a lot of these, so that's why I'm expecting like there would be more of these echoes given out this time
yeah,
because the rewards are also based on. So some of these rewards are based on how the server is doing. So it's not just your damage, but the entire server damage that is going to be counted towards the boss's total health.
nice. So you'll be getting me rewards as well then.
Yeah, and
Good stuff.
you based on how much damage you dealt overall, like the boss's some abilities change as well. Like he takes more damage, or I forgot what it was exactly. It's been a long time,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he takes slightly more damage or something. It was something like that, and you do keep getting more and more buffs for the fight as well. So as you progress, it becomes easier to kill the dragon.
Cool. And just to check, the dragon that we're going to be facing is the 3-headed one that we've seen on all the advertising and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a three-headed dragon.
Cool. Yeah, that looks awesome from like all of the posts they put on social media and stuff leading up to the release of the game. So
Yeah,
excited for it.
it's going to be an interesting fight for sure. Like I think it's very similar to a Vortex style fight. It doesn't really matter whether you have melee units, range units. It's very similar to a Vortex style.
Yeah.
So all the bosses' attacks are like kind of AOE. So it's pretty much works similar to what a Vortex style would work. The only difference is that he does play some pesky debuffs. I think it was either your ult recharge time reduction or something similar.
Okay. So you just basically you want to bring a cleanser if you can then.
Yeah, but it's not worth it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, the higher the damage you can do, the better it is. Like the cleanser
Yeah.
has to do something else besides just cleansing to be worth it.
Fair enough. That makes sense. Right.
Yeah.
So in terms of building teams, obviously with the elemental dungeons as well, you're going to want to focus on one per element. I'm guessing that kind of carries through to the boss as well. You want one for each element.
Yeah, so for each element you want like a specific synergy between a team, like
Yep.
based on so that affinity pairing will carry over as well.
Okay. Cool. So in terms of building teams, then should we start by maybe looking at fire?
Yeah, let's go through fire. So you got Eric, Rush, and then it's all the epics.
Yeah.
I think Alfie is okay if you're missing him because your Rush is going to be your main DPS in this fight.
Yep.
And his hot fire ability allows you to basically have like a wild check, successful wild check much more often.
Yeah. Even with just him and Tononon, it's always guaranteed.
Yeah.
So yeah, Alfie's not a huge loss for me. It would be obviously if I had Flora, but I don't.
Yeah. With Flora, your entire team build completely changes.
Yeah, I said when we were talking about our tier list the other day that I wish I could rate her 10 because she's just so out of everybody else's league. She's so good.
I think next season though it would be more Lothair because one of the reasons that she's so strong in this affinity is that you can pair Ogok with her.
Yeah,
And you can go much further in the Vortex fight compared to what I was able to do last time.
yeah, no, that makes sense. So you think Lothair will be taking taking the trophy next season? Do you think?
Sorry?
Do you think Lothair will be the one taking the trophy next season then as the best?
Yeah, most likely I feel like that because next time if everything is going to be in order, fire is going to be paired with summons, necrotics,
Yep.
and that's going to be very, very problematic.
Yeah.
Because necrotic has some of the worst, you know, support units in the game.
I mean, it's kind of the same situation that Ice is in this season, where they've got great damage, but they've got nothing to pair it with, really. So, or at least less accessible options to pair it with.
Yeah, I mean, most of these affinities like necrotic, frost, they are more paired for arena,
Yep.
whereas fire, poison, lightning is more paired for PvE. And radiance is something which is balanced overall, where you can use them both in PvE and in PvP, and they do solid mid-level work.
Yep.
But if you're going to rank them based on how each elemental affinity works in different area, like fire and poison is just way ahead in PvE,
Yeah.
especially for Vortex.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
yeah, obviously, like we said, the core of my team, Rash is going to be the main damage for sure. And I'm guessing.
Yeah, and
using
you will
3
need like
DPS?
multiple. So Eric is great because his ultimate wild check would be really, really good as well.
Yep.
He can hit pretty hard, but you can actually if he's not inspired, right?
No,
Yeah.
he's not inspired or booked. He's just a.
If he's not booked, then I would suggest like go with Tona. If Tona
Yeah.
is booked,
Yep, Tona's
Tona is
booked.
going to be much harder damage dealer because of her passive as well, where she's getting like, I think it's you just need to build her with 80% crit rate overall, and
Yeah.
she does like amazing work.
Yep. I mean, I use her and Rash together already in Vortex, and it's.
Yeah, and she
Much
pairs
better.
really well with Rash because her passive, if an ally gets like a, I think it's if ally has a successful wild, she gains like 5% crit damage to the hero,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
she pairs really well in that regard with Rash.
Yeah,
And
they're
the
kind
next
of
step, I
counter
think
buffing each other.
Yeah, Tona is going to be great. Eric, if you book him, then he might work. But if you're not going to book him, then Foley is a great option, or even Karaman.
Okay.
Karaman is basically a jumper, more of an arena unit, but
Yeah.
he does work well in PvE as well, especially for because he's bringing up this attack up and attack speed up for himself.
Yeah.
So he's pretty decent in terms
Yeah,
of
it
damage
might
dealing
be
options.
worth turning to him.
Yeah, and
Um,
you just need a single target damage dealer for the fight anyway, so
okay,
it doesn't
cool.
really matter.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So I'm guessing you're going to want to run 3 damage dealers for each team in an
Yeah,
ideal
you
situation.
you have to have 3 damage dealers
Okay.
in this content. The good thing is like I don't remember if the boss did defense down similar to Vortex, so the team building is actually slightly easier,
Yep.
right? If it makes any sense, because defense down is a huge headache in Vortex.
Yeah, it's a pain. I
When
mean,
you do
I'd.
need a cleanser, and that's why I said like in this fight you may not even need a cleanser because if it's just a recharge speed penalty, I will rather take that than drop my damage for a cleanser.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, that's when I dropped to 2 DPS in Vortex when I got to level 4 because I just needed a cleanser and my cleanser didn't do enough healing to really substitute a healer.
Yeah, and I think since what we need to do is like we need to also take a look at the poison pairing with this one.
Yep.
So you have Adolphus there, so Adolphus is going to be good. But I'm thinking what attack down options you have here. So I think yeah, Fur Bath is going to be amazing
Yep.
because then in the poison affinity you would be able to use Urgander
Yeah,
separately.
exactly. Yeah, I can split them up and use one in each.
Yeah, and Fur Bath would go in that team with your what's his name, Adolphus. So if you
Okay.
go back,
So basically
Adolphus brings in
recreating
a
my
huge
Vortex team.
shield. Yeah,
Yep.
it's gonna be similar to Vortex.
My Vortex team, but with an extra DPS. I like it.
Yeah, because you don't need a cleanser. I mean, if it's the same, I don't think I required a cleanser last time.
Okay.
So as long as it remains the same, like I think that's the team that I would go with
Yep.
because Adolphus shields are pretty massive. It's probably one of the biggest shields that in the game right now,
Yeah. No, he is
including
amazing.
inspiration, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that
So
makes sense. So, well, I mean, that's that one sorted. Would it make sense to do poison next, I guess, considering we've already said Aganda will
yeah,
go into that?
yeah. Let's do poison next.
Okay.
So
So,
poison, you already have Vacania. Is she booked?
she's not booked, no.
I think that's still fine, but oh, you don't have Corin. Oh wow.
I don't have Corin, no. Um, my,
Oh wow, that's surprising.
yeah. Nearly
So I
everybody
think
else.
running Urgander here makes much more sense because we already used the attack down option for Bath in the other fight.
Yep.
Although you can switch because Adolphus does have some heals, not the best. So having Furbath there would make sense.
I mean, Adolphus is only going to heal if there's shields out already.
Yeah, but it's still kind of like a good heal because he does his shield on his battle skill too.
Oh, yeah, true. True, yeah.
So
I mean, if those two are interchangeable, that's not the worst thing in the world. I can always kind of adjust that as necessary. Whether I use
yeah,
Furbath or Ergander in either team.
yeah, definitely. Once you're fighting the boss, like you have the option to like redeploy as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's not like I'm locked in and stuck with it. But yeah, in terms of epics, obviously, and potentially even rares, who do you think would be best to go with Bacania?
So with the Kenya, I think the Shink is pretty good.
Yeah?
But yeah, other than like not having Corin is really tragic because Corin is one of the best poisons too. He does amazing
Absolutely.
poisons on his battle skill actually. So he
That's
does
the
three
spirit.
on his battle skill,
Yep.
and then on his ultimate he's refreshing it, right? So he refreshes the duration of one of these stacks,
Okay, yeah.
and
That's...
and then explodes one of them. So he does do a lot of poison stacks when it comes to the boss. But
Yeah, no, that's
Shink is
really
really good as well. Shink can do a lot of poisons too.
good. Okay. Have a
And I
look.
think Horus has decent capabilities for doing poisons as well,
Is
if
that...
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's 5 poisons there.
Yeah, 5 poison with a 75% chance, so it does work.
Does that battle skill, if you use that on a single target, does it bounce 5 times still? Or is it only a single target at one hit?
So it depends though. Like in Vortex, like similar skill like this one from Urgok does go on the boss twice. It hits the boss twice or thrice.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure like how it will function in the otherworldly exploration because I don't remember.
That's alright.
But I would assume that this would hit multiple times because the boss has multiple targets.
Yeah.
It's not like a single target that you were doing, since the boss is like a three-headed dragon. Like,
Yep.
or is it three-headed? I think it was single head. Maybe I forgot what it was. But
That's
you
right.
can target his hand, you can target his head, or you can target his other leg, front leg.
Cool.
So there are like a multiple options. So sometimes what happens is like you have an AOE nuker, and they actually work really well,
Yep.
right?
Oh, that's really
So
nice to think about. So,
it's
in
very
terms,
different from like a plain vanilla vortex style battle too,
yeah.
but very similar at the same time.
Okay, so Shink will probably be going into the team then. So that's two of the three. I guess Horace is probably the best option as the third until I get a Corrin.
Yeah, I think I would wait until the Otherworld explosion, and if you get lucky with I'm hoping you do, because he triggers poison explosion,
Yeah.
right? And he does 3 stacks of poison, similar to what Corin does on his battle skill, but he doesn't refresh the poison,
Yeah.
right? So that's what makes him a bit slightly different, where he's doing like a 600% attack, and he triggers this poison explosion. So that is the thing that you typically want to. But with Vulcania, I don't think that's going to matter actually.
Yeah,
It's
true,
only
because
the
it's only
battle
the
skill that you're going to be
application.
concerned about.
Yeah, it's only the application that you care about, really. Um, but it'll be
So
interesting
you'll
to
have
test.
Vulcania, Shank, Horus, and then for cleanser healer, you'll have Vikik.
Yeah. The issue is Vikik doesn't do very much healing.
Yeah, that's what I
So,
was thinking. Maybe a Cyphrus might be a better option then. But
yeah.
but Cyphrus consumes her HP.
See,
Like
if I was
that's
to
the
use
problem.
Cyphrus, I'd probably have to use Furbath to keep her alive,
Yeah.
which could be worse.
Yeah, I would actually swap Arganda in the other fight, because but then again you're missing out on healers. Like the healing capability of Furbath is way too high
Yeah.
compared to some of the others.
It's a shame you can't have multiple copies, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's similar to Raid or other style games. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It
I
would be
kind of like
nice.
that, where you can't run like multiple of the same team.
Well, yeah, it saves you having to build 5 of the same hero as well. So,
Yeah,
um,
but I think
you
her Exandra would be viable still.
okay? Yeah, I could use Exandra. One thing you mentioned is AOE nukers. Would Sigrid work?
Sigrid, I mean, if you can get debuffs on everybody, yeah, it could work. But I would actually, even because you have Bacania, right? A derivative damage dealer is going to do much more on these kind
Yeah.
of fights.
Yeah,
So
fair
if you
enough.
didn't have Bacania, I would probably go with Ellie, right?
Okay.
And then bring, because Ellie is like a, I mean, even if you don't have her booked Bacania, Ellie might still be a decent option. If you book Bacania, then it's going to be a different story.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't have the books at the moment, but it's something I could definitely look into doing in the future, especially if Poison's going to be strong next season. So,
Yeah, I mean, Poison is going to be strong like once you unlock Ogok mainly
yeah.
and Lothair, right? So Ogok is exceptional when it comes to being a support unit. And the good
Yeah.
thing is that he's on banner. I think he's the only banner which is actually kind of worth it.
Yeah. I have been
Even then, I
tempted
think
by
it's
his
it's
banner
not
a
worth
few
it. But
times now.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
he's been on the banner a couple of times, and I think he will be on more banners to come.
yeah, I'm sure he will be. I think he's actually in one of the blessed ones that's upcoming, so we will see. Right, so that's kind of poison covered then. So I'll be running Vicania with 2 poisoners, hopefully a Corrin. We'll see during my next summons. And
Yeah,
then, do we settle for Hexandra for the healer?
I think Hexandra would be slightly better than Cyphrus, but Cyphrus, I mean, if you have both of them built, it's worth to test out. But I would, yeah, healing is going to be a problem for poison for sure.
Yeah, well, I've got Hexandra built already because I used her at the start. So I can always try her, and if I need to swap for some more healing, then I guess Cyphrus comes in.
Yeah, Cypher heal is going to be, because she heals off her own HP. You can somewhat control like how much heal you're going to give to your DPS units.
Yeah,
So that's
makes sense.
basically a big difference in Hexandra versus Cyphrus.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'll give that a try and see where we go from there. What element do you want to do next? It's up to you.
Up to you.
You choose.
Your pick. I'll go with Frost then. Frost
Okay.
is the worst anyways, so I'll
Frost it
rather
is.
get that out of the way. But you seem to have some decent Legos there.
Yeah,
Gee.
Frost is all I pulled at the start.
Yeah, Frost is pretty good, and having Oster Losenia is pretty good as well,
Yeah.
because they pair really, really well together, even in arena. Uh,
Okay.
PvE stuff, Frost lacks a lot of damage, but in this fight, since you have Oster, right, and that's where I said like this AoE damage and Losenia providing the Frost on each of these three targets that the boss has,
Yeah.
he's going to get his ultimate really, really fast. So having
Yeah.
somebody like Vinyara with a short ultimate cooldown is also going to be worth it. You could probably put like Crown on your Vinyara,
Okay.
and it's a
Would it
16-second ultimate.
would it be worth it on Vinyara, or would it be better on Lysenia when she's hitting
So
more
Losania will
times?
have a higher chance to proc,
Yeah.
but Vinyara is going to do it more often.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. So the thing is, like, Losania can also use it, but I would rather have her as a DPS because she does hit hard. I was
Okay.
actually surprised using her on the Beyond Fair fight, and
Yeah.
she does hit hard.
Okay. Cool.
So
Right. So
she
that's
can be like a DPS enabler in this fight, where Oster is your main DPS.
yeah.
You could use Hokadia too, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. He has a very short cooldown actually. It's a
Uh,
16-second cooldown.
yeah. That's before being booked as well.
No, that's after books.
Is
So
that? Oh yeah. Of
yeah,
course.
so that
I'm looking at the
that's six
gallery. Yeah.
seconds. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think if you don't have him book, it's a 19-second ultimate,
Yeah.
which is still not bad because a lot of the other legendaries have like a 20-second recharge time.
Yeah. If not more.
Yeah, there's some with more, especially the resurrectors.
Yeah. I mean, I'd need 3 DPS anyway, so I mean, he could technically come in, but it might be better to bring somebody like Varesh for some off healing, maybe.
Yeah, Varesh is actually really, really good for healing as well.
Yeah.
And he can be a good DPS unit by himself too. He does bring in like block buffs and things like that. But with Vanyara shields and everything, yeah, you can probably go with Varesh for healing.
Cool.
But let's also look at the summons while we are at it because,
Are you sure?
yeah.
There you go. There's not many options.
Okay, this is going to be a big problem. I
Yeah.
don't even know if you can make a team out of it. But can you scroll down? Let's see the rares.
I've got all of those.
Yeah, I think it's best to actually go with Varesh because then your summon team is actually going to suffer the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah, if I take anything from Necrosis, then it's going to be really tight to build anything.
Although you can make an argument that one team should do a bit better than the others. Megan is a good healer here. I
Okay.
mean, if you want to make her into your Frost team, then she can work really well. The problem is like because you in Frost you're having a lot of different things working for you. You have an AoE damage dealer, an Oster, you have attack down, defense down, you have Losenia who can apply like Frost consistently.
Yeah.
And Hokage can actually boost the damage if you want to make him, or you can go with Voresh who will keep everybody else topped up, right? And you can go with somebody else as well. Like you can make somebody like Rava, and then
Yeah.
make Rava your at third DPS instead of Hokage. But Hokage with his attack up is still decent actually.
Yeah. So am I going to, outside of obviously having attack down already, am I going to need a tank for this, or?
So the way I did my Beyond Fair fight was not to use a single of the Frost tanks, and I made Vinyara my tank.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah, that's
but the
fair
boss's
enough.
attacks are mostly AoE, so a tank is sort of mute. You can use like double support, or if a tank is doing multiple things like a Celia, then you can have a tank, or a
Yeah.
Furbath, right, for that matter. But
Yeah.
overall, like, there's no requirement for you to have a tank.
Okay, cool. That's really good to know then, because obviously my options for tanks in Frost aren't the best. I mean, the options in
Well,
general aren't the
generally
best.
doesn't have best tanks anyways.
Yeah.
Like the only good one is Lucian, and he's mainly for PvP, and
Yeah.
that's for the first 10 seconds of the fight. So after that, it's just dead weight.
Yeah,
So
no, it makes sense.
Frost really lacks a good tank, and Summon has one of the best tanks as well, like Berengar. But
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have him.
yeah, you are lacking a lot in Summon, so
Yeah.
this one is going to be tricky.
Yeah, right. Right, guys, well, we're going to jump onto Arslan's channel next to cover the next 3 teams, but thank you very much for watching. Do make sure to like and subscribe to Arslan and watch the second part of the video there.